Yes, everyone, welcome back to your evening show here on Forever United TV. I'm Adam, welcome along back to the channel. Welcome to the live chat. If you are in the room right now with us, please do get your input in there, get your questions, get your comments on everything. We're talking Manchester United's goalkeeper and striker situation at the moment. Yes, them again, updates on both. As Manchester United's squad leaves for the US tour, no Harry Maguire, but he has posted on social media he is okay and he's joining up with the squad tomorrow. So that is all fine as well. Surprise inclusions in the actual travelling squad. Romano has talked about that. Alongside that, in the same actual video, we talked about Garnacho. Has Ruben Amorim also just ruled out moving for Benjamin Sesko? According to German-based Sky Sports journalist Florian Plettenberg. More information on that as well as we go forward. Plenty to talk about in the show tonight. I want loads of comments in, everybody. Please get into the live chats and let me know what you're thinking as well. Give me your options. You may not think that what we're talking about is right, but what I want you to do is get into the chat and actually tell me who you would go with otherwise. Like, if you don't agree with something, it's all right saying it in the chat, but give us an explanation in there as well as to why you don't like it and what you would do otherwise. It's all right saying don't agree, but on here we like to get a bit of a community chat going. So tell me what you would do otherwise. What's the other option? Let's get into it, everybody. Talking goalkeepers, first of all. Now, yesterday I alluded to a conversation I had and I was told that SENNE LAMMENS was Manchester United's highly scouted goalkeeper. In fact, some people at Manchester United actually feel like he could be better than David De Gea. And Sully has dropped well, it's not so much a bomb because this isn't going to be one of them eye-opening transfers. It's going to be a number 2 goalkeeper that Manchester United buy. And obviously, nobody really gets excited about it because he's not coming straight into the first team. SENNE LAMMENS will be a goalkeeper that plays under Andre Onana. Believe it or not, I know it still pains me to see him sat there next to Brian Mbeumo on the jet today, going out to the tour. Just let him recover at home. Let him stay. But yes, so the talk is on what Sully said. I actually had conversations about this last night, that SENNE LAMMENS is more likely to be the Manchester United goalkeeper purchased off United, the keeper that United will buy this summer over everybody else at the moment. He is top of the list through the scouting and recruitment side of things, and United are all in on it. Now, Ruben apparently has given the green light to this as well. He's happy with that goalkeeper to come in. And again, the reports that have come in for the goalkeeper, like, I've not known them. I'm not going to act like I have looked at him over the last couple of years. I didn't know about him until this season. Like many United fans, you'll have some people saying, yes, he's a good goalkeeper and they've watched Belgian football. Not really for me. I honestly look at what the scouting history is, try and find the information as to what has been going on with Manchester United on the recruitment side more than anything else, because let's be honest, you can be one person, you can be one type of player and you can have certain characteristics, but sometimes them characteristics just melt when you put on a Man United shirt and you walk out in front of 75,000 fans every week. And we've seen this happen forever and a day with Manchester United. It's a young keeper that they want to bed in. And this is now looking closer and closer to actually happening, because yesterday we talked about Antwerp actually saying that they are going to get, or expecting, a bid in for SENNE LAMMENS. Everybody has talked about SENNE LAMMENS, from Simon Stone from the BBC to Fabrizio Romano, obviously, yesterday on his video. And we all know that United want him. And I think now it was all a case of, what's the decision? Do we go with the cheaper, younger keeper, or do we go with the more experienced? Let's get him now in Emi Martinez. He still wants to push to Manchester United. He still wants to be a Manchester United player, Emi Martinez. And until Garnacho makes his mind up about where he wants to go, more on him in a minute, I don't think we're going to know for the definite yes or no about Emi Martinez, unless United go all in on SENNE LAMMENS. Now, Sully has said this, that Manchester United are fully invested into LAMMENS and he is going to be the choice that they pick this summer for a goalkeeper. I think a lot of Man United fans will be happy with that pick, because obviously they're not fully convinced that we're moving in the right direction with an Emi Martinez. It will be seen as a stopgap. I know the goalkeeper, he isn't on the up as much as what LAMMENS is. And again, I feel like United would be then forced into actually putting Emi Martinez in and putting Andre Onana as a number 2, and they don't want to be paying near 300 grand a week in wages for a number 1 and number 2 goalkeeper. That isn't financially feasible for United. And let's not forget, in all of this, United want to be able to afford a striker. Strikers come at a premium, they come with big wages, and if you can save wages on a goalkeeper that is just as good, or is looking to be just as good as what Emi Martinez will be in the future, then United will go in that direction. They don't want to blow all of the budgets on wages, 150 grand plus for Emi Martinez. That's what it's going to be. SENNE LAMMENS, you could probably look at, I'd say twice, not even half that. You're probably looking 30 to 50,000 pound a week wages for SENNE LAMMENS, something like that. That there is why Manchester United would rather save the 100 to 150 grand wages. That adds up to put towards a marquee striker signing. Who that striker will be, we will talk about it in a minute. But the goalkeeping side, again, like Ornstein said this morning, was that it doesn't necessarily mean Andre Onana is being sold. Kind of hinting towards a number 2 goalkeeper coming in. The Emi Martinez one is difficult for Manchester United because, that's why that rumour came out, and it was kiboshed and completely thrown out straight away by a decent journalist. But the rumour that Manchester United bid or offered a loan for Emi Martinez at weekend is complete nonsense. I think someone's just made that up using the information that's out there, and just because United can't afford to make transfers or actually put a decent bid down right now, they're making the story up that they've offered him on loan and it was rejected instantly. Like, nobody else has talked about it from that one journalist who I'd never heard of before. So again, people using United to make the content, and this, I think, is realistically the way that Man United are going now. The striker's going to cost more. Save what you can to afford a decent striker. The goalkeeper, I think, and I'm edging towards now in terms of what I think will happen rather than what I want, because I would still take Emi Martinez. You all know that's my choice, but I'm being realistic about the situation here. I think that Manchester United are going to buy Lammens. I think it's a cheaper option, and obviously you can then use that money towards getting your marquee striker. It's not even marquee, but an important striker. Sound like Romano now, don't I, with his important players and important signings. But yeah, that was a great report from Sully earlier on. I have spoken to him as well, and he has said pretty much the same thing forever and a day now, that Manchester United will not blow budgets on a goalkeeper. They're not going to do it unless the opportunity is too good to turn down. And like Romano said, it would only happen if there was some kind of swap going on. And this is not going to happen now because of what we're going to talk about in a minute, where we're talking about Garnacho. So, yes, again, I just feel like it's pushing towards Lammens coming in, and I think eventually this season we could see SENNE LAMMENS be, if we sign him, that is, and obviously this is just reports at the moment. I'll stress that facts there, but if he does sign, I think we could see him moving himself into the number 1 spot by the end of the season. I think that's what United's plan is, and Andre Onana will have 1 year left on his contract, and United will probably look to sell Andre Onana cheap next summer and get him off the books and his wages off the books before Man United play in the Champions League again, because we're going to qualify for the Champions League this season. No one else thinking that? No, just me? Okay, sorry. I'm getting excited again. Giddy, some people would call it. But yeah. When it comes to the goalkeeper, get into the comment section and talk to me, everybody, as well, please. I want to know what you're thinking regarding this. I think, and I can judge off what people have said before in previous videos when we've spoken about the goalkeeping side of things, that a lot would be happy with this. But get your thoughts into the comment section and let me know, first and foremost, about what you feel about this deal, whether you think it is actually the right one for United to go for, and it is the right approach in probably easing Onana out rather than trying to find a buyer for him desperately this summer, because let's be honest, nobody's come up with anything. No one's made any offers, and Andre Onana is going to try and milk, like most Man United players do, everything out of the football club. And I don't mean that, I'm not going to use that against the man at all. You all know my feelings about the keeper. I just think that, well, he's under contract. Why would he want to leave Manchester United? It's like people saying it's up to Man United to get rid of Rasmus Højlund. Will Rasmus Højlund ever leave United? If he had the choice, no. With Sancho, no. Because of the money and the opportunities and how they're protected by the football club, they're not going to leave. It's up to United to make the stance and get the players out. And I just think it's too much to do in one window to try and force Andre Onana out as well. I actually think it is too much to try and force Rasmus Højlund out. But them stories keep on coming out. So I'll keep fighting the stories, but they keep on coming back and fighting back at the moment. So we'll just go with the flow with Rasmus. I don't think Onana's going anywhere. That's why I think it will be SENNE LAMMENS coming in for Manchester United. And I think that's why Ruben has actually looked at it. And you know what? The most important thing is he's got an option. If Onana's having his usual and doing his usual antics, in Lammens who could come in and fill in, and let's see what happens there. And of course, obviously then, you've probably brought another striker in because you've saved so much money in not going for Martinez. It's all about the annuals with United and them figures at the end of the year. And if you've got a goalkeeper on, say, 40 grand a week compared to 180 to 200, which Martinez would want, it is a huge difference in terms of the finances going into the end of the year. So, yeah, that's why I think it will be SENNE LAMMENS. Let's get a couple of chats in as well, starting off with the super chats that have just dropped in right now. First of all, Brian says, number 2 is kicking the can down the road. Amorim won't drop Onana. Look at what happened last year. What game time will this lad actually get? Well, when you've only got Bayindir to come in, and Bayindir wasn't his signing either, don't forget, then you haven't really got much options because Bayindir really didn't cover himself in much glory either. So one game for Bayindir against Arsenal does not warrant being fully confident in playing him the rest of the season. At least the players knew who Andre Onana was in terms of gameplay. That's all I can think of. Like he doesn't like any of the keepers, quite clearly. And he wants to bring in his own. So I think that's the difference, Brian. I think he will this season drop Andre Onana, especially if it's one of his players that he has bought coming in. That's what I think anyway, and that's the difference, buddy, I think there with what might happen this season. I know you're worried because of what happened last year, but again, I think if Ruben's spending money, he knows that he has to make that money work, and I think he will get game time. I do. Adam, do you think we will sign Ederson, seeing our current midfield will not work? Also, will we buy Sesko, and what about Watkins as Part X for Garnacho? Now, let's see where we are here. Thanks for the super chat, Brits. In terms of the striker, do I think we will sign Ederson first of all? Let's go on to the midfield. I think the midfield could come up, I think, in terms of conversations when we get to the last knockings of the transfer window. If Ederson's available and United have done well in the window, like selling Antony, selling Sancho, Garnacho, Malacia, obviously, as well, if we can get them players out of the door, then I think Manchester United could actually go and get Ederson. I think if we sell Rasmus, we'll get the striker in with that money. And if we obviously move on Garnacho, Antony and Sancho and Malacia, then I think we could actually go out and get the midfielder that we want. I think we've got enough money to go out and get the goalkeeper. Although United still want to get some more sales in the bag first before they start moving on anything else. Yeah, I think that's where we're at with the midfielder. I think it's last on the list, but the names keep on coming up, and we are going to see probably more and more come forward for the midfield role as the window closes in. 40 days to go and counting, as Romano said this morning. So let's see on that one, mate. In terms of the strikers, again, what moves me on to my next story, really, which is Ruben Amorim. Has Ruben Amorim ruled out buying Benjamin Sesko? Now, Florian Plettenberg, and this is where I'm going with this one. Florian Plettenberg has said that Manchester United want, and Ruben Amorim wants to sign a experienced Premier League striker. So you're automatically then ruling out Sesko. And I'm only saying this because maybe Plettenberg has done some digging. He's spoken with Leipzig. Maybe this is what he's trying to get out of Manchester United right now. Obviously, the link with Sesko, Leipzig, Plettenberg being over in Germany. Somebody asking him, how likely is it for Sesko to move to Manchester United? And he's come back and said, from what I know, priority for Man United is actually a Premier League proven striker. So maybe Sesko is too much of a financial risk. Sully is in the house, everyone. Absolutely buzzing with that. Make sure you say hello to Sully. Our man is in there, everyone in the chat. Again, going back to the striker then, though. Like, if you're Ruben Amorim right now, you're looking for the guarantees. I said this before, that Sesko is not a guarantee for Man United because he hasn't done it in the Premier League. That's why I did the video earlier on about Evan Nielsen. I don't think United will buy Evan Nielsen. I don't. But is he on the list as an option? Yeah, because he's a Premier League striker after 1 year. Same with Nicholas Jackson. It falls into the same boat. Anyone who's played in the Premier League, United will probably be looking at before they go abroad and spend 60 to 70 million on a striker, which is why I would like the idea of Sesko, and United will probably look into it later down the line if the opportunity comes around. But I think United, if they see and find a Premier League proven striker first, that's where they will go, and I'm convinced that that is what will happen at Manchester United, and it's been proven already through this window. If you cannot get a number one goalkeeper, you buy a number two who you could bring through with a bit of experience. You're not going to put SENNE LAMMENS straight into Manchester United's starting lineup if Andre Onana is there. It's going to be integrated in. And hopefully he gets used to the Premier League as the season goes on by getting opportunities here and there. And I think Ruben will do that. The striker, you know that's the biggest pressure that any player that's coming into Manchester United this summer is going to be under. The striker is expected to score goals. United don't score goals. United haven't scored goals for the last 2 seasons. It's been dire. And Bruno and Cunha will bring more for Manchester United. Of course they will. But the striker, everybody's going to be looking at. And I think that's where Manchester United feel more confident in bringing in an experienced striker rather than someone like Sesko. I get the Sesko buy, and maybe the team and maybe the club are not at the right part, are not in the right part of the journey right now at United. Like, if we were in Arsenal's position, Liverpool, City's, you'd have time to let Sesko bed in. It's like Darwin Núñez at Liverpool. You probably have time and give him a few seasons and he will score you goals. Like, averaging 20 a season doesn't sound bad, but someone coming into Manchester United who needs to hit the ground running, who hasn't got time to adapt, needs to be the right man. And that's where I think they're looking at Sesko. If he is high priced, are they going to spend that amount of money on him? I don't think they'll spend absolute fortunes on him. They'll buy him if the deal's right, and it has to come down. And I do think that Manchester United realistically are looking at Sesko and do want him, but only at the right opportunity, like what Romano says. I think that's probably a more realistic way of looking at it, I would say. Super chat from Sadade. Oli, oli, oi, oi, oi. I don't know what that means. No idea, mate, but thanks for the super chat, buddy. Markash just renewed his membership. Barring the obvious, what striker would you pick? Kluivert? No, I would take Evan Nielsen over Kluivert at the same club. If I was going to take a striker right now, let's just say, for instance, Manchester United, we're definitely going to buy a Prem-proven striker. You're sort of looking at Watkins and Mateta. I think they're the 2 strikers that stand out as Prem-proven. With lots of experience. Yet there are other strikers who we know about who are at the bottom end of the table, which is the free agents, the likes of Jamie Vardy, Calvert-Lewin, and obviously Callum Wilson as well at Newcastle. I don't see Manchester United going near them unless it's full-on desperation, final day of the window stuff. I think United will have another striker in before that actually comes around anyway, but never say never, hopefully not. But Nicholas Jackson actually wants to move to Manchester United as well. Now this moves us on into the next part of the show actually, but keep your comments coming in, everybody, on this one. Obviously we're talking the striker situation right now and it is developing, but Romano was talking about Manchester United's squad and who's going on tour in that as well, though. We talked about the players that have been left behind. So obviously we now know with the squad that's been announced that Malacia, Antonet, Sancho and Garnacho are not leaving for the US tour. So Ruben, there is a rumour going on that Ruben is actually demanding that them players are sold by the time they get back into the second week of August from the United States. I don't think that's true because you have to be realistic. It's hard work selling players, particularly ones that Man United clearly don't want. So again, let's just let the window play out in getting rid of these players. So Nicholas Jackson wants Manchester United. Now, like Romano has said before, there is no offer at all on the table. There is no negotiations at all. Thankfully, that is not happening. But he is open to moving to Manchester United. Of course he would be open to moving to Manchester United. Who wouldn't in his predicament? And Manchester United do look like an attractive proposition for players like Jackson right now, who are going to be out of favour. He's just moved to third in the pecking order behind Liam Delap and João Pedro, for God's sake. So, yeah, if Man United come knocking and that's your only option, it does look appealing because you're probably going to get a decent wage and it is a massive football club. And we do still have the pull, as proven so far this window. So, again, Jackson is open. Now, Romano was talking about Garnacho, and Garnacho obviously wanting to stay in the Premier League. Romano actually went through the list of other European clubs that would want Garnacho or have even shown an interest in him, and he said no to all of them. Doesn't want to move abroad, would prefer to stay in England, in the Premier League, and according to what his people are saying, he feels that opportunity is there. So who is it? Who are they talking to? We're all guessing at the moment, but the obvious, and like what Romano said, he would look to Chelsea. And that's the obvious move because of the connection from January. And we all know this already, but excuse me, Romano talking about this actually brings up the conversation about Nicholas Jackson again. And United being aware of the Jackson situation, Chelsea wanting Garnacho. If Manchester United wanted to do this, then there is an easy out there for United in getting Garnacho off the books and bringing in Nicholas Jackson. Now, again, I wouldn't want Nicholas Jackson. I think he's way down my list of options right now. And you would hope that Manchester United would do what they have done throughout this window and not go for the bloody obvious. And that is an obvious one to try and do, which is, oh, Chelsea want Garnacho. Let's take Nicholas Jackson then. No. If Chelsea want Garnacho, Chelsea pay Man United what Man United want for Garnacho. It's as simple as that. And Man United would say, no, we're moving on to somebody else. We don't want Nicholas Jackson. So Garnacho sold to Chelsea, that's fine. I honestly feel like Garnacho will do like what Rashford has done, which is get some intermediaries in to help out with a transfer. It's clearly not working at the moment, and we'll see. A family's working for players just seems to be a recipe for disaster. Honestly, like Garnacho and his brother Rashford and his, it's a bleeding nightmare. By the way, Rashford has signed his contract. I've seen pictures of him doing his unveiling video, the announcement video, whatever it is. There seems to be a phone box in the middle of a pitch. From the pictures that have been leaked, but God knows, let them do their thing. He's gone, he's out of our hair anyway. Garnacho seemingly looks like the next one, and I said this before, these players like Garnacho will look at Marcus Rashford now, he's done, he's out the door. So you can talk about the love affair of Rashford and Garnacho, both bigging each other up on social media and whatnot. But Garnacho's turning up to Carrington with no football club. I don't care if he's wearing the Man United training kits. He's not wanted. So this will start to sink into these players' heads surely now. That, oh, God, like, they're away on tour. We're at Carrington on our own playing no football. He wants to be in the Argentinian squad. I think it's Garnacho and Antony that are probably looking more likely to be moving next. Sancho, God knows what happens with him. We'll wait and see. But again, no rush at all. The big money is obviously in Antony and Garnacho right now for Manchester United. We've given up on Sancho and where we're at after the reports that got kiboshed by David Ornstein yesterday. But Garnacho to Chelsea, United need to stand firm with this one. I'm confident that we're not going to just do the obvious and do the easy deal, which would be Nicholas Jackson the opposite way. I mean, if Chelsea had an option there with Nicholas Jackson being a cheap price, they wanted to give Manchester United a certain amount of money and Nicholas Jackson the other way, United might be tempted in by it. But I actually don't think United will go for that type of deal anymore. I think they're looking at what they want. Is there anyone in the market that they really want to go for? Jackson is just an option right now that's being thrown out there to the football club. So I actually feel now like Manchester United, after what they've done, in not buckling on the Bryan Mbeumo, sticking to it, that was the top target. I think with them two in now, Cunha and Mbeumo, Manchester United are looking for the next one. I think SENNE LAMMENS is a player that we have scouted for 2 years and more, and that's the player that we will happily take. Happy with that deal. That's another player in that United wanted this summer. On to the striker. Honestly, I still don't know. I cannot make my mind up which way United are going to go with this striker option. Like, we know that they've touched base with Mateta. I can't see it. Palace are going to charge an absolute fortune for him, and United don't have the money. I said it with Evan Nielsen with Bournemouth before. Yes, Mateta's in a different situation, and United may see an opportunity because he's not signed a new deal yet with Palace. He's only got 1 year left. Palace are kind of desperately scrambling at the moment. They've obviously appealed their ruling about being kicked out of the Europa League into the Conference. Not happy about that. Is Mateta bothered about playing in the Conference League rather than the Europa League? I don't know, is the honest answer, again. But Mateta, I think he's up there now on the list. I think quite high. I think he is higher than Nicholas Jackson. If Mateta's cheaper than Nicholas Jackson, you go for Jean-Philippe Mateta straight away. I just feel like Crystal Palace will do a Brentford and charge the earth. If I was Man United right now, I would be looking at maybe... Have you seen the bid for Yohan Wissa as well that Newcastle have put in? That there, I think, is an interesting one. I said, I tweeted it out before. I said, yo, Brentford, what about Wissa too? Because Man United, it could do the double. But after all of the stories about Brian and Boom and the fallout between both clubs around that transfer, I just don't see that happening now. But yeah, Yohan Wissa, £30 million bid rejected. Apparently has left the Brentford training squad in Portugal because he is unsettled by all of the stories going around his future at the club. So again, let's just see. I said this morning as well, don't forget, Manchester United do have the money to go in and get a player now. And they must be confident there's some deals in the offing because of what Ornstein said. Hugo Ekitike, Manchester United went in for last week. And the reason why Manchester United walked away from that with nothing was because, like Ornstein said, and he has been right with everything, Ekitike had already chosen Liverpool. So United must have had some money there to actually go for Hugo Ekitike. It's come from the horse's mouth in David Ornstein of The Athletic. So I'm guessing that United do have funds available right now or feel like they can put or structure a deal together for a decent player. And I think they're just looking at everyone that's out there all around the same sort of price. When you look at all the strikers, they're all in between 50 and 80 million quid. What United are looking at. And again, I go back to what Romano said a few weeks ago, that Man United will not buy or will not spend a lot on a striker. But then again, that was countered by, we're getting Brian and Mbeumo done first and nothing else matters. So let's just see. Oh, okay, right. Let's get a couple of chats in here as well on everything with the striker side of things. Jackson, Garnacho, everything that you want to get in there. Let's get into them now. Makash. You've already answered that one. Thanks for renewing the membership, mate. Stephen Brown, 5 months a member. Offer Garnacho as make weight for Sesko. He doesn't want to go abroad. That's the problem we've got, and like we just explained there. I would go with Antony to RB Leipzig and say, there you go. And they have actually been interested in Antony. He was on the list that Leipzig were on the list of clubs that actually were interested in Antony. So that would be one I would go to Leipzig with. Antony, go with that. Ross says, Chelsea beat us out of our top striker target, tried to poach Mbeumo at the last minute and are now trying to sell a backup striker for double what they paid for Delap. I would avoid them. Yeah, exactly. Unless they want to pay big money for Garnacho. See you later, Chelsea. Exactly. That's where we're at, Ross, with it right now. And I think Manchester United are aware of Chelsea's little antics and games and how they play it. And I don't think they're going to fall for it anymore. I really don't. But going back to having the money and obviously wanting the Premier League striker, either one or both of Garnacho and Antony must be close to a deal, or Manchester United, like us going in for Ekitike, have got money aside to actually go out and get a striker right now, because this talk is that we are actually ready to go. That's what it feels like. It's like Manchester United, and what Romano said earlier on this morning, we were talking about it, weren't we? That in the next 2 days, we will find out a lot more about Manchester United's striker and where they're going with it. So let's actually just let's see what happens going into the end of this week. But he also did say, like, still just over a month to go in the window. Is it getting to that point now where you have got all of your targets laid out, you know exactly what's left for you to do in the window, and then you go full hell-bent on trying to get the one that you want before you go into desperate mode and look at them bleeding free agents? I hope not. Would anybody go for Wieser in the chat, by the way? Would anybody go for Jan Wieser? Go back to Brentford. How would you avoid Brentford like the plague? They've already turned down 30 million. Let's see what Newcastle... You know what would be funny? Newcastle do all this bidding again, then another club comes in and gazumps them, like Liverpool have done. And maybe United should go in for Wieser right at the last minute and take him away from Newcastle. I don't think he'd have a problem signing for Man United and partnering up with Brian Mbeumo again. But would anyone take him? That's the question I want to ask the chat right now. Brits abroad, I've asked loads. How do you become a member? I think it's down into the funding section. If you press the $sign at the bottom, mate, then all the options come up there if you wanted to be a member. And thank you again for looking into that, mate. But yeah, it's on the actual $sign at the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, mate. I think that's where it is. Right. United are broke, fam. That's the budget done with Cunha and Mbeumo. United can't sell because players they're trying to offload are on crazy wages. Loans out is the best, and that's it. It will take time. Not broke. No, we're not broke. I don't agree in that. I think now that we've freed up the finances with Marcus Rashford leaving, yeah, even other loans will give United the finances. Let's not forget, I keep on saying this, but Rashford and people and loans and people coming back next season. Look, Sancho can't come back. Sancho is gone. No matter what happens now, in any decision for United, loan or sale, Sancho is done. Contract ends the end of this season. As well as that, you have got Maguire and Casemiro's contracts ending right there. That's nearly 25 million a season in wages off the books in Casemiro and Maguire alone without Jadon Sancho. This is how significant it is for moving players on. We will sell Garnacho. We will sell Antony. Now, even if Garnacho is loaned, there will be a loan fee. And like we've said before, we're actually talking about the potential here of Rasmus Højlund leaving Manchester United. Wouldn't take you on. We saw too many AFCON players. Oh, no, not too bad. What have we got? African players. Andre Nana, not bothered. See you later. Gone. Mazraoui, yeah, that would be a miss. And Mbeumo, obvious miss as well for Manchester United. So we got 3 missing at the moment. We saw, yeah, I get it. They're missing about 5 or 6 games, I think, aren't they? And I think there's a couple of big ones in there. I get it, but we can't be thinking about just one season here. I think we have to be looking at the future and just making sure that they are the right players. A lot of people saying they would take Wieser. A lot of people saying that they wouldn't and wouldn't bother. So, yeah, I get it. Both sides of this one. I do believe that we're looking at potentially here, I feel, Manchester United maybe taking that into consideration. I can't make my mind up if United would be that worried about the Africa Cup of Nations. I really don't think that is a concern of the clubs, but it's a fair point. It could be. It is a lot, and that 6 games is quite big for a season. If it all goes wrong in them 6 games, then United are struggling to keep up, really, aren't they? We'll see. We'll see anyway. Let's see what else we've got chat-wise in here. Keep them coming in, everybody. The 8 says the obvious choice for a striker was John Duran, but we managed to miss Mr. Bolt on that one. United weren't willing to pay 350 grand a week wages for a loanee and a potential trouble causer behind the scenes. Character of player. I did mention John Duran as a potential striker target, and everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people came back with the same sort of worries and concerns. Is he a problem behind the scenes? Why is he being moved out already? And yeah, let's be honest, we're not going to bring in a loanee 22-year-old who's going to be on more than anyone else at the football club. That just wouldn't fit with Manchester United. It really wouldn't. We don't need any more African nations players, it says Graham Richardson. I'm not worried about it. I'm not. We've got cover, surely. Ahmad could step up. into Ian Bumo's role. You've got plenty of centre-backs to cover Mazraoui. Don't even get me started on Andre Onana. Like, thankfully, he is going to be missing this season, and we will probably see SENNE LAMMENS come in for a good spell in the Premier League midway through. So, yeah, I'm actually excited about that fact in a way. People have just reminded me now about AFCON coming in. Does actually, if we do go and get SENNE LAMMENS, like we said at the top of this show, if we do get him, he is going to get some decent game time this season because of AFCON and Andre Onana leaving for Cameroon and that tournament. So that could be a positive way of looking at it, I suppose. Yeah. Graham said he'd take Mitrovic. Too much money again, wage-wise. I think that's the problem. I think he's on 400 grand a week over there in Saudi Arabia. Oh, God. Tom just said there, Ozzy Osbourne has just died. Didn't know about that one. No idea. Legend is gone. Hope we can now buy a striker as far as Rashford has left to Barcelona. Sancho will just let his contract run out until getting stupid money, even if he doesn't kick a ball. I mean, every player wants to play football, though. Come on. Brits Abroad has figured out how to work the membership system. Thank you, mates. Love that. Really appreciate that, buddy. Sai Martinez, Lemons, Sesko, Elliott, and Elliott. Nan might be able to challenge for Europe. Don't think so. Adam, you watching the girls tonight, doing a watch-along? No, I'm actually taking... Well, we're not taking them, but we're having a get-together with my girls' team, women's team that I run, and we're all going to the pub to watch the semi-final. So, yes, we're off to the pub to watch the game, mate, so no watch-along on that one. Regarding the watch-alongs throughout the summer, there will be a couple through the friendlies building up. Not the stupid kick-off times, but the obvious ones. So, let's just have a look at this. That is the breaking news. Ozzy Osbourne dies, 76, just days after Black Sabbath's farewell performance. That is sad news. It is. Kaz has just sent me that one now. And Tom was bringing it up in the chat as well. Rock legend, gone. Farewell, Ozzy. Adam, if we don't get a midfielder, what do you think our midfield will be? Someone alongside Bruno. Between Casemiro, Mainu and Manuel Ugarte. Pretty straightforward and basic, I know. Doesn't sound very creative, but what else are we going to do? I actually seen someone put a formation up before. Instead of the 3-4-3, or instead of the 3-4-2-1, someone put a 3-4-1-2. in there with Bruno behind Cunha and Mbumo. Quite creative in a way, and I think there will be a bit of a mix around in terms of rotating players around in that system. If we don't buy a striker, that is, then I can fully see there being some form of rotation around the likes of Cunha and Mbumo and Bruno up front, as well as Xerxes. And people are forgetting about Joshua Xerxes at the moment as well. Other news as well, in terms of the tour, Ethan Williams impressing Ruben Amorim. Manchester United's youngster from the academy who's come back from loan, a successful loan spell last season, has impressed Ruben Amorim and made the actual travelling squad. A few youngsters have. Jack Fletcher is in. Obviously, Sekou Kone and Obe, as well as Diego Leon. Obviously, Ethan Williams is in there as well. It's a strong travelling squad of 32. And I expect Manchester United to do a lot of rotating, but that is probably the strongest and fittest Manchester United pre-season squad I've ever seen leave for a tour. Everyone fit at Man United is unheard of. And yes, credit and well done to Ethan Williams for actually standing out in front of Ruben Amorim. So, yeah, I think that's a bit of big news as well with all of the players that are missing out, particularly some certain academy players, and Ethan Williams coming back from loan and impressing straight away for Ruben Amorim. That is big news. That is actually massive news for him, and well done to Ethan Williams. I think that is credit to him. And again, if you take your opportunity for Ruben Amorim, you are going to get your chance. I was quickly going to check through the rest of the news and reports. Oh, God. I just flicked on the screen there and seen Nicholas Jackson. Like, seriously, get him off my page. Let's just see now what else we've got in here as well. Again, like I've seen that report there. Manchester United are aware that Chelsea would be open to discuss a swap deal involving Garnacho and Nicholas Jackson. At this stage of the window, United are not proceeding with an official bid for Jackson because they are still assessing the main candidates for the striker position internally. And like Romano said again, like the next couple of days might be important for Manchester United, but it does scare you that we might be going for the obvious there again, doesn't it? It really does. Marcus Rashford has completed his medical, and it will be announced soon. There is some form of like unveiling video going on with Marcus Rashford. I had no idea what it's going to be. Don't really give a shit, to be honest. Let's see what else we've got in here quickly. In terms of the strikers, a lot of people, there's some journalists still talking about Moise Kean as well for Manchester United. That period of time where his buyout clause was available, whether United have actually left it alone and not gone for the clause because they think they could get him cheaper, I don't know. Again, it looks like United are going for a Premier League striker. And they are few and far between and very expensive for Manchester United. I think what they're looking at here is they've got all of these strikers laid out. They've got all of the strikers that are available to them. They're all, like I said, in between a similar price. So why would you go out and buy an unproven one when you've got ready-made ones here who have got pretty decent records? So they've all got pretty decent records in the Premier League. Like Mateta good. Wiese is good. Watkins obviously good as well. Jackson, meh. But the players abroad, like Sesko, he's got a decent scoring record. Not the best in the Bundesliga by any stretch, but obviously decent. Like Moise Kean had his breakthrough season at Fiorentina, his best record and numbers. But anyone abroad really isn't outshining people in this country in the Premier League right now in terms of strikers. And if they're all very similar priced players, then why would you actually look at them ahead of the Premier League players? And I think that's the way that United are also looking at this right now. Like, he could actually get someone who knows the league, who could just go bang straight in and do a job. And my hope is that there is some form of Garnacho wanting to go to Villa, and then maybe you could bring Watkins into the equation. I think that's probably my biggest hope right now. Watkins would guarantee you Manchester United goals all day, every day. I get all of the positives from the other players, I do. But in terms of experience, in terms of playing at the highest level as well, and England international also, scoring on the biggest stage, I think Watkins ticks so many boxes for United, but that deal would have to come down a lot for it to happen. And I wonder when United will call it. Like, how long will they wait for these deals to actually, like Ornstein said this morning, actually come down a little bit? And obviously the prices come down on the players to make these deals more possible for United. I wonder when that will actually happen. Be interesting. Let's get some more comments in on this one. Major Badger says, sell Anana and Bayende, get Lammens and get Vanja Savic and strikers. Striker-wise, United should go for Youssef and Nesri and Kepram Turan. They're definitely outside of the box signings there. And again, like I just said, it's going to be Premier League proven strikers before anyone from abroad. All the best to Rashford. Do well and gets the money for you next summer, says Jack Jones. Yes, do well and bring us some money in. That's all anyone wants right now from Rashford. A few Villa Twitter accounts saying that we are getting Martinez on loan. No, we're not. We're not getting Martinez on loan. I think that story was complete and utter garbage again, and that proved with what the big hitting journalist was saying just today alone, actually. Hope United checked Mbeumo's birth certificate. Can't believe he's only 25. Hey, we're getting a player in his prime, and that's what matters above everything else. A player in his prime, which is something that Manchester United haven't usually done or haven't done much of. Thank you, by the way, everybody. It's over 600 live likes again. Absolutely brilliant. Can't thank you enough. We passed the 92,000 subscriber mark this morning, which is epic. Again, you've done a great job. If you haven't, please hit that subscribe button, everybody, and make sure that you hit the bell notification next to it. It's completely free. You get to know when the news is breaking because I've got you covered, and you're helping the channel out massively for nothing. It's a win-win for everybody. Massive thank you again for helping us get there to this point where we are at now. And we can see the 100,000 subscriber mark actually in the distance now, and it does feel like it's getting closer and closer and closer. So that's the next target, everybody. So please do get your likes in on the video and make sure that you hit that subscribe button as well. It was actually funny watching everyone subscribe this morning to hit that mark. It was brilliant. Did anyone see Brian Mbumo's interview on MUTV? I haven't seen it yet. I've been too busy today, actually. But yeah, I'll catch it later after the women's game. So yeah, let's do it. Hopefully the Lionesses bring it home tonight and get to the final, which will probably be against Spain. I think Spain will just about do Germany. Germany are all right, but Spain are excellent. So I expect it to be a England-Spain final again. But you never know in women's football. You never know. There is some surprise packages out there. Still can't believe that France went out, to be honest. But look, let's see what tonight brings. By the way, the QR code on your screen will give you the chance to play your match bingo on England's game tonight as well, everybody. Scan that QR code and just enjoy yourself. Trust me. All you have to do is scan it, download the app, deposit £5. You have to be UK resident and 18 above to do it. But just play match bingo with the game going on. It adds so much more excitement to the game. Trust me on it. It's like ticking off your numbers in a match in a bingo hall, except ticking them off when a certain match event happens. And you could win over 300 quid on the game tonight. Boom! For £2 a game, go for it. Fill your boots, everybody, is what I say. The link in the description as well is for there's a few things in there as well. Your jerseys, your kits, retro shirts, all there, as everyone has seen throughout my shows. OK, jerseys are in there. Some of the mods will drop that link in the description again for you before we finish up. And all that's left for me to say again is to the mods, thank you. And to everybody else in the chat with your comments, absolutely brilliant again tonight. Fantastic debates there regarding the goalkeeper and the striker situation at Manchester United right now. And we will carry on again tomorrow. If news breaks late tonight, I'll obviously have you covered as always. But let's see what tomorrow morning brings now. Good luck to the Lionesses. Have a great night, everybody. I'll check in with you again tomorrow. Enjoy your evenings. And yeah, be safe. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on the way out and the like button. And I'll see you all first thing, 8 o'clock.